welcome to this, a very interesting and rather thoughtful look down onto the world of Dragon Ball in this rather more relaxed podcast about the medium. Here, us two, up on the lookout. Now, for those of you who don't know, Up on the Lookout is a podcast with a difference. Here we like to talk about Dragon Ball, but in a much more relaxed and kind of introspective way. We like to look at things from a different point of view and just, make it quite casual. We're not here to give scores or ratings or recommendations or not. We just like to see what we find within this particular chapter. And if you'd like to help support us, you can check out marsicox.com where you can leave a donation or pick out an Up on the Lookout t-shirt to represent your place on the lookout as well. Joining me as always, of course, is my trusty sidekick Haverock.
Hello, I'm Haverock and I can't believe it's not butter or better.
Ginyu Force jokes are never going to get old, are they? As you can probably imagine, this month, we are going with the antics of the latest Dragon Ball Super chapter, Chapter 79, Gas vs. Granolah. This trend of all of these chapter names being quite overly descriptive, like it's just, this is the fight. And then you're like, oh, okay. They used to be relatively elaborate or decorated and detailed, and like the anime, they have ludicrous titles, whereas now it's just a bit like, oh, okay, it's a little bit drab, but all right, at least we know what we're going to get ourselves in for. And pretty much that does sum up the chapter, really. It's essentially the battle, or at least the beginning of the battle.
To me, it really, fits with Gas's personality as being very much to the point. Like, I feel like this feels with both Gas and Granolah in terms of their, like, they are not here for pleasure, it's business for both of them. So that's that's why I see like Goku versus Granolah, Vegeta versus Granolah and stuff like, this is not, this is not pleasure, this is business.
Okay. That's a good point, actually. Well said, mate. I mean, I didn't see it that way, but really what you say, that does make sense, because as we've seen, Granolah doesn't like to have all the fancy terminology, but as you notice in this chapter, he does actually start to do that. He's getting a little bit of Vegeta. Careful, Granolah, your Vegeta's showing.
Before we start, have you seen that suddenly, after the last two chapters, internet is like, yeah, Granolah is so cool. Yeah, we love Granolah. Granolah is such a chad.
Oh, yeah. That's something I did want to discuss as well, but we may as well do it now, because it is actually very true that after months, like the majority of this year, of Granolah being such a whiny baby, of going, Saiyans must die, and then he finds out that he was responsible for his mother's death, and then suddenly, I'm gonna go after them pesky heaters. He's gonna be a cool badass. I'm gonna make amends with my friend Oatmeel, and okay, he's now acting like a cool guy. Now, after realizing, he killed his mum. Right, okay. Oh dear. People forget things really quickly, don't they, Have? Yeah. People do tend to forget things that they remembered very clearly not too long ago. I mean, Granolah. I'm assuming we're talking about Granolah, right? Yep, of course. So, really, that's the point. You can't really forget the fact that Granolah was just such a whingy, really, really hard, stubborn person. But I mean, I will admit, you'll go back through this chapter again once everything and all the chapters are there. It won't be so bad.
Again, it's the problem of the monthly release, and something that something what Kaiser Lani and Mark said about the Tournament of Power saga in anime as well. Like, it wasn't so fun week to week. When you have something as a complete package, it like, this is the biggest problem of Super, right?
Yes.
Both anime and manga. When you have it as a complete package, you get, in my opinion, much softer to it. But, week to week, month to month, it can annoy you endlessly.
Oh yeah, because you are given a whole month to fester over something, and if something really got up your skin or got under your skin, sorry, it's gonna stick with you and it's gonna bug you. And when you get moments of Granolah being so stubborn and belligerent, it really stays with you, and it's really difficult to get out. But I'm glad that it is out now. That you just go, okay, I can look the other way. Granolah has actually managed to listen. And at this point, if he were to suddenly turn around and betray Goku and Vegeta, I'm sorry, that's just bad writing. That's just like, it's nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think so either. I'm just saying, if that were to happen, I'd be like, I'm sorry, no. I mean, Hav and I are some of the biggest stans of the manga at the moment. Like, we really like where it's going, and it's trying new things, and it's doing actually really well. It's actually managed to up the ante of Vegeta's progression even more, and that's like, wow, that's really impressive. I didn't expect you to actually make it even better.
Listen, you can sum up it with a great quote from DBZA. I'm impressed, Vegeta. You managed to make a friend.
That does sum it up, actually. But there are so many cute moments where Vegeta just looks at Granolah off in the distance and goes, yeah, I did that. That's my boy. Yes, my boy over there, kicking ass. Ah, Granolah.
Trunks, this is your new brother, but he's about your age, Dad. Shut up.
I don't care, he's part of the family now. And it's okay, if you don't like him, he won't be around for long, am I right?
Wow. Wow,
Vegeta. Wow. But it's true. I mean, it does tie back in a way, because at this point, I think Granolah's just accepted that he's messed up and he's going to die in a couple of years. So he may as well just try and be a force for good, almost. But one thing we need to talk about is the beginning antics of Elec. And the fact that he is very, very far away from the battle. And he's like, I'm not going to go there because it'll spoil my wine. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. I've got another thing to take care of. And I'm like, I wonder what that might be. Might you be going to try and find the Dragon Balls again? I'm not quite sure. Did Oil and Marky take the radar, or did they give... No, they gave the radar to Elec. So yeah, he's just going to go and get another wish. Isn't he? That's what he's going to go and do. He's going to get he's going to get the Dragon Radar and go and get the Dragon Balls again. And he'll sense that, oh, if Gas is struggling, I'm just going to do the wish again.
And transfer the forces of both Granolah and Gas to himself.
Oh man, that'd be just super, super narcissistic. But it sounds bonkers.
I mean, that could go into new arc. The Elec arc or something. But one of the most interesting things, somebody, I'm sorry, I don't remember who was it, but I saw a thought that I'm guessing Gas is now the mightiest in the universe. I'm guessing. That's interesting wording.
Yes.
He should be sure about it.
He's probably just assuming. Still, these Dragon Balls are relatively new, so he's just like, well, I'm just going to do it and I hope it works. And there's like, oh, hey, I guess it worked. So it's like him discovering a new tool. And it's like, oh, hey, cool. That dragon actually did do some stuff. Nice. That's good intelligence and information.
You know what would be the dirtiest thing he could do? Deliver those two Dragon Balls to Frieza.
Oh, talk about irony, am I right?
Yeah, behind everyone's back. Come on, Elec is so slimy that he could do that. I kind of love it about this character. That
you want to know what he's gonna do with that errand. The fact that we're even talking about it means that Elec has made some impact. If we're just like, oh, he does that, but it doesn't really matter. He served his purpose, then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's an issue. But I was actually on a podcast. It was for DBCember with Kaiser and Totally Not Mark, and they basically say that the Heaters as a concept are cool, but their overall character designs don't necessarily look like main bad guys. They sort of look like movie villains. I'll give them that. That is kind of true. But I still think that your space pirates, there's very little that you can do to not make them look like pirates, because otherwise then people would go like, they don't look like pirates. You need to actually be quite obvious.
One of the more interesting things is that they are keep tossing at us some of the Gas character quirks that are not necessarily evil. Like the sole fact that he was using his own trick to try and defeat Granolah, like, this is commendable in a way.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredibly stubborn, and it just goes to show that Gas is a grunt. He's not an experienced fighter. He is naturally strong. He can, show off his power, but he's not skilled. Unless it's in this one thing. He's focused it into one specific thing. He's hyper-focused on one particular moveset, and he wants to be able to assert his dominance using that. And you can tell that the fact that he's not able to do it, and that despite being the strongest in the universe in theory, he still can't beat Granolah with the techniques that he's used. And he's genuinely upset about it. And he's just like, he didn't want to use that Ki Blast. And even that Ki Blast, it may look flashy. It didn't really do much damage to Granolah because, his clothes were still intact. And if Dragon Ball and Senran Kagura have taught me anything, if your clothes are fine, then that didn't affect you at all. That was there just to prove a point and just to get Granolah to back off. But that's the thing. It does make Gas at least a little bit less generic. He's not just another mook.
And again, like he has some sense of honor. He's like there are sympathetic things to play on him still. Like he's an a-hole, but like you can kind of understand where he's coming from. Like he's not a huge guy with a plan. No, he's like he's someone who wants to serve his family well and do it his own way, and it's super insecure.
Yeah. Yeah, he is a grunt, but then he actually has some kind of, goals, as it were.
I wouldn't even call him a grunt. He has like that bodyguard mindset, like that passionate bodyguard mindset even.
Yeah. But in terms of like as an experienced fighter in the field, he's not necessarily that, in my opinion. Is that he's not like Granolah. Granolah's a bounty hunter who has to make his way throughout the universe and galaxy to be able to make money. And he knows he's got street cred, and he knows the streets. Whereas Gas may not. He just gets told to do something by Elec, and he goes and does it. He doesn't really take much joy in the battle. But now you get a Granolah who is now actually starting to enjoy this moment in the battle. He's now got teamed up with Oatmeel again, which in of itself was so wholesome to see. The fact that he accepted him back, and the fact that Oatmeel just goes, I swear to God, if you throw me away one more time, I'm gonna hit you up the face, and I'm just a pair of goggles. I will do it.
Yeah, I think that they sold to me the idea that Oatmeel is just the goggles. Like I feel that it works.
For those of you who don't know, Hav and I have been thinking about the identity of Oatmeel for many months now, and we made a video about it on the Master X channel, and we thought that it could easily be like an AI, the goggles themselves, it could be a guy in a chair somewhere, but I think it's now becoming more and more likely that the goggles are Oatmeel.
I mean, it's confirmed at this point. I think it was confirmed.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, because it's actually quite intriguing. Based on the information we got after recent interviews at Jump Festa, we did find out that this arc's actually going to be coming into an end sooner than we thought. Like, really soon. We're talking about like March, April time where we'll get the conclusion. So I'm like, wow, okay. If we're going about the acts of the Morrow arc, that would be chapter 63. And that was pretty much towards the end game, like the final battles. So, Gas versus Granolah, this could be the final fight, or at least the penultimate one.
Also question, I feel that Granolah's arc is shorter than Morrow, right? It has to be shorter.
Oh yeah, it will be. Even with an extra 4 chapters, it'll go to chapter 82, maybe? So that'll be about like 15 chapters. So that is about 5 or 6 chapters less than Morrow. Because Morrow's was about 20 or 21.
25.
Really? 25? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, never mind then. I was wrong. But yeah, 25 chapters. That's like 2 years of the Morrow saga. And this one's like going to be about 15 at most. So far it's 12. So it's been about a year. And I mean, that in itself sounds really long, but that's quite short.
But that's okay. Like, we don't need all the arcs to be 25 chapters.
No, that's true. But I'm like, it did come as a surprise. I'm thinking, oh, okay, I thought we were out of the first act, but no, we're actually heading towards the final act. Right. Okay. Never mind. But I suppose in a way it won't outstay its welcome. And maybe it was just a really simple story. Just to have something that, and this is something I've seen online and various social media posts, that this is the first mainline Dragon Ball fight where the Saiyans aren't the main focus. Like, Goku and Vegeta, they're not in this battle. And Goku's aware of it, Vegeta's aware of it, he's made his peace, and he's there, he's got this new power, but he's now not trying to force it upon everyone else. That's like, wow, this is actually quite mature.
They're even joking about how ridiculous those power boosts are. Because, let's be honest, they are. And I really hope, the biggest issue I would have with this arc is if it, like, overuse of Toronbo won't be addressed in any way, you know?
The justification for that will be most likely, oh, well, we'll have it so that means Monaito dies or something like that. Monaito gives up his life essence. That means Toronbo then becomes dormant and the Cerulean Dragon Balls will never be used again.
Or Toronbo will pull Omega Shenron on us, which would also be interesting.
Oh, because as we all know, Toyotaro really wants to get Shadow Dragons involved. Really badly.
Toronbo absorbing the life essence of both Gas, Granolah, perhaps more.
Oh yeah, that's kind of true.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, like it's wishful thinking, but it's the first DB fight back to original DB when the main fight isn't either about Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's almost like, somebody's listening to the feedback that people are giving.
Yeah. And essentially, the fact that Vegeta points out that Gas only just got the power, whereas Granolah has had several months to figure out himself, that's very true. And that's actually, that actually makes sense that, yeah, sure, you're the strongest, but if you don't know how to use the power, then what good is it? Yeah, experience. Experience trumps it. And yeah, granted, Granolah, kind of shortcutted his way to the top, but at least he found some way to actually vaguely understand it and then use it in a battle with Vegeta and Goku. So he's had some practical experience, whereas Gas is just going into this, with no experience at all, based on what skill sets he has from when he was not as strong. So that it's complex. There is some complexity in there and some logic. So this arc's relatively well thought through. So far during this saga, I've only had a couple of moments where I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Where it doesn't make sense, or at least it's a bit confusing. The rest of it's like, okay, all right, I can see how that worked. So that's actually a really big plus. This isn't setting the world on fire in terms of a chapter, but it's a really, really well meticulous and put together one. As in, I'm happy with it. As you can probably tell, folks, there's really not much else to talk about during this chapter in terms of detailed stuff because it is mainly just the fight. But it is cool to just see these two fighters work together to make a really good show for us all. And there is some good combat in here. And I will admit, like, the spinning shuriken on Gas's hands is just really, really fun to see. But I reiterate from what I saw, the whole thing of Oatmeel showing his prowess with being able to tell what's going on outside of a cloud. And then, Granolah picks up all the kunai. It's like, there are so many ways to put in some corny lines like, you drop these yours, and then just chuck them back. I'm glad they didn't do that ultimately, because a lot of people would have just been going like, oh, but I would have found it really funny. Let me know in the comments if you would have found that funny too.
Also, one more thing, like, I think that one of the most cool things that could happen, I don't think they will happen, but could happen, is that if Granolah did to Gas the same thing that Vegeta did.
What was that?
Well, opening his eyes that, to the fact that he might not be necessarily, using his powers for the good stuff.
Oh, okay.
I still think that all those openings for Gas's positive traits may result in him not necessarily dying in the end, and Granolah getting through to him.
So, like, what Granolah got from Vegeta, he might try to pass on to Gas, like saying, "Don't listen to your brother. He's just using you. He's playing you, using you as some kind of machine or tool."
Yeah, he's using all of us at the moment.
Yeah, I mean that could be it. I mean, I didn't expect that, but I'd like to have that. That Granolah is just trying to turn himself around.
I would love that ending, like Granolah, because remember. At the end of the day, what was the very characteristic of Granolah that we have seen in the beginning? Granolah captures, he doesn't kill.
Well, to be fair, he's a bounty hunter, and bounty hunters they're meant to capture. I mean, sometimes they are meant to kill, but basically...
No disintegration.
No, exactly. That's true.
I think that would be very very poetic.
I will say, speaking of which, the fact that that Gas just suddenly used destruction, Vegeta was like, "Oh, he used Hakai." Wait, what? Like, he tried to use Hakai? Like, hey? I thought that was meant to be for Gods of Destruction only. I bet there is going to be a moment where you find out from when Beerus hears about this, he's going like, "What? Who dares use to sully my attacks?" You're gonna have a moment where Beerus is like, "Say what? No." Beerus just gets the hump about it. That would be really funny.
Toronbo is basically a cheat in Dragon Ball fighting game that unlocks all the moves to your character.
Yeah. It's like a supercharged Shenron when you find the Dragon Balls in the game.
And like what Granolah and Gas like going through the lists of the moves and like, oh, what does it do? Boom. What does it do? Boom.
Just kind of going, I wonder what this does.
I have one more topic outside of the chapter because this chapter is just a cool fight mostly, and Vegeta being all proud. And you know, and seeing Goku and Vegeta become Krillins.
Yeah. Oh.
But one more thing I would like to discuss is like we finally know how Ultra Ego looks. What are the official colors?
Oh yes.
What do you think?
It's purple, like we all thought it would be.
And the eyes are like, you know, are purple like Beerus's eyes.
Yeah, they're a lighter purple, but based on Toyotaro's things, it's more of an homage to Beerus.
Well, not Beerus's eyes, sorry. Beerus's eyes are yellow, but like are purple like Beerus. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I mean, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, it's pretty much like that was pretty much what we were going to expect. But hey, it's good to know that it's been confirmed, and the only difference is that the eyes are purple instead of gold. But that's a very quick thing to fix. But okay. Yeah, that's good to know. But I did find that little chibification drawing that Toyotaro did with Vegeta looking really extremely manic. That was a bit like, okay.
It's cute. It's super cute.
It's cute. I mean, it's certainly much better than the chibis that we got in the anime for Goku Black and Zamasu. What were those? I'm sorry. Whoever was given that task really did not a good job with that. It was like strange. It's very strange and surreal. But agreed. It's good to know about Ultra Ego and having the colorations in there. And yeah, I think that's all that has to be said about this chapter. It was good. It was solid. It didn't really try to step out of its boundaries too much. And it was just a pretty solid beginning. And we'll see more of the fight next month. We'll just see how it goes, or if it'll continue, or maybe the attention might turn towards stopping Elec or something like that. All that remains to be said is thank you so much everybody for listening, and if you'd like to help out Up on the Lookout, so that means we can pay for our server costs, you can check out masterquicks.com and maybe buy the Up on the Lookout t-shirt or leave a cheeky donation on there as well. It would really help support the channel, as well as help us continue to make Up on the Lookout and Dragon Ball content. Haverock, thank you so much for joining me as always.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
And thank you all out there for listening, and I hope you're all staying safe out there and that you have a very good rest of your year and going into 2022 as well. So until next time, folks, be well, be safe, and we'll see you around. Ta-ra!